Hi, Nick Curnick-Orrin here from Optimise Consultancy. In this session, I'm going to have a look at SparkLines. SparkLines are mini charts that sit inside the cell of a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. They're really good to pep up the look of your data. Sometimes your data can be a bit bland, just a big table. Adding a SparkLine adds a sort of visual dynamic to it. And there are three types of SparkLines: line, column and win-loss. We're going to take a look at all three and we're going to look at formatting all three. Also in the session, we're going to look at a few other features that I think are important and very useful as well, which include fill series, a function called rand between, structured data tables, and paste special. Now you can either create a new spreadsheet and work along with me, or you can just sit back and enjoy the video. So here we go, SparkLines. So first of all, I'm going to create a table with some dummy data in it. Now I'm going to start it off down here in cell D3, and I'm just going to put in a heading, products. And then I'm going to put in the name of each product. I'm not being overly creative here. I'm just having products 1 through to 5. So I type in product 1. Now here's one of the bits about fill series. If I just click on that product 1 and drag down, you can see it'll go to product 5, 6, 7. Actually, I'm going to go to product 10. Now another thing that I can do is I want the months, the first 6 months of the year. So I'm going to put in a heading there of Jan, and here's another fill series trick. Just drag that across to the right and it'll go across to June for me. So it's easy enough to do that. It doesn't matter what month I started with, it would have gone straight through to from whatever month I started with to whatever month I finish with. Next then, I want to fill in some data. So this is where I use the function called rand between. So I click where I want to put the first value. Now I could just type numbers in here, but if I do that, it's a bit tedious. So I'm just going to randomly generate numbers in this cell. I click where I want the answer to go, click on the FX button or insert function button on the formula bar. Now I've recently used rand between, but had I not, I can just type in random and go, and it will show me two functions, rand and rand between. Now rand will generate decimal values between 0 and 1. Rand between will generate numbers between a range that you specify. So that's the one I'm interested in. So I can click on rand between, click OK, and up pops the arguments box. I need the bottom number. I'm going to say minus 500. And I want the top number. I'm going to say plus 1000. I don't need to type the plus 1000. Okay, OK that. And there you go. It just automatically generates a new number for me. Now every time this spreadsheet recalculates, you'll get a change in that number. I can force a recalculate using the F9 key on the keyboard, and you'll see it will just generate new numbers for me within the range I've specified. Now I want to copy that across to column J where June is, and I want to copy it down to row 13 where product number 10 is. Okay, so there you go. You can see I've got a good random selection of numbers there, and each time I press F9 it will randomly generate new numbers in each of those cells for me. I love that function. I use it all the time when I'm generating dummy data to work with. Okay, the next thing that I want to do then is to turn this into a table. So if I click anywhere inside the table, this rectangle here, and if I go to the insert menu and choose table, Up will pop a dialog box, and you can see here it says where the data for your table is, and it specifies the range. You can see it's selected the correct range. My table has headers, yes it does, and I just say OK. And it's turned it into a nice pretty table for me, looking rather good. Now I might want to format this, might want to change the colour, the overall look of it, not a problem. If I just look at the table styles, there's a whole bunch of options I can choose from. I'm going to go for, I quite like this orange. Okay. You can do other formatting as well, of course. You can format just in the normal way, change the font size, etc., in just in the normal way. So there's our table generated. So we've already looked at quite a few cool features here. Now the next thing I'm interested in is SparkLines. Now what I'd like is I could either put the SparkLines at the end of the data, column K, or I could perhaps put it between products and January. That's where I fancy putting it. So I'm going to click in column J, right click, choose Insert, Table Column to the left, and it'll give me a blank column, which I'm just going to title as Spark. Okay. Notice each time I make a change, the random numbers are regenerating. Now that might get on your nerves at some point. We'll look at how to resolve that, but for now we're just going to leave it as it is. Okay, so I want to put in a SparkLine here. Really simple. I simply click in the first product. If I go to the Insert tab, and then there's a group called SparkLines, and I'm going to put in a line graph. Now it wants to know the data range, which is going to be this row here. And I'm going to say the location is in cell E4, which is correct. OK that. And there's my SparkLine. If I adjust the length, the width rather, of the column, then you can see it has an effect. It's going from -111 to +874. If I copy that down, you can see it's generating different lines for each of these rows based on the data in them. And each time the data changes, you'll see the SparkLine changes too. Okay. Those SparkLines, they're a little bit narrow at the moment. That's simply because they only fit within that cell. So I'm going to adjust the row height of these cells by basically adjusting the size of the font. So if I increase the font, say, to 20 points, you can see that my SparkLine changes quite significantly and the angles look a little bit more appropriate. If I highlight my SparkLines, I get a new tab at the top called SparkLine. And this will allow me to choose all sorts of different things about it, all sorts of formatting. So I might want to change the color, I might want to change all sorts of things. So I'm going to change the color first of all. Let's change it to a blue. What other things might I want to change? Well, I might want to change marker colors. So in marker colors, I can say, right, well, the high point, I'd quite like that to be purple. So I choose purple. Then what you can see is on each SparkLine, the highest value is pinged off in purple, which is great. And then I might say, well, actually, all negative points, I want to go off in a different color altogether. So I'm going to choose those as red. So what I can see from here is any negative points on a SparkLine. For example, if I look at product 2, this second item is clearly a negative, and the last one is. So here we go, second one, and the last one are negative items. Shows really quickly. I can also add in others if I wish, so I might want the low point to show, I might want the first and last points to show as well. So there's various other options we can flag within the SparkLine points. Also, I could change this line graph into a column graph. And you can see very quickly there what a column graph looks like. And again, the high point is going to be shown in purple, and the low points, or sorry, the negative points are shown in red. So each row has its own mini graph associated with it. There's also a win-loss graph, which doesn't really work for this data, but I'll just give you a bit of an explanation of it. Basically what it's showing is anything that's negative, it's creating a bar for under the line. Anything that's positive, it's creating a bar for over the line, but all the bars are the same height. So it's really good if you've just got yes no answers, for example, where you've got a -1 and a 1 as your options. So it's a very quick, easy way to work with that. If I leave that as a column chart, you can see I can choose different styles of column chart again, just like I could with the lines. Now, as we've seen, that if the data changes, then the SparkLine will change automatically as well. So with each time I press F9, the numbers recalculate and the SparkLine changes too. That can be a little bit annoying, and perhaps you don't want the data to constantly be changing. So once you've got the set of data that you're interested in, or you want to use as your sample data, we might want to fix those down as numbers. Simply highlight them, copy them. You can either do Control-C or right-click and choose copy. And then you can either go to the paste drop-down and choose paste values and number format, and that will paste in the option for you. Or you could have just right clicked within the data and chosen paste values or paste special values and number format. SparkLines really can add a little bit of flair to your data if you need to. It helps people who are more visual see what they're looking at. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was straightforward enough for you to follow. If you'd like to find out more about the training that I offer, please give me a call. The information's in the email, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.